Last week, I made a video titled How to Become a Web Developer in 1 Year. And I got a comment on that video saying that 1 year wasn't enough time to become a web developer. So let's talk about it. Hi, my name's Anissa and I make videos about transitioning into software development and changing careers. And if you want to watch the video I just referenced, you can do that right here, but you don't need it to keep up in this video. So you can just watch it after. So the question I'm going to answer today is 1 year really enough time to become a web developer? Now, the person who commented on my video, I believe that the reason they think that 1 year isn't enough is because there's just too much to learn before you can call yourself a web developer. And that's a fair way to think. It turned out that we both had very different views of what made a person a programmer. To them, I think it was more someone who's really mastered the craft and is able to understand many aspects of programming and web development. Today, I think that a programmer is just someone who writes code, but I didn't always think that way, and it kind of took me a long time to get there. When I started coding, I was actually really nervous to call myself a programmer or web developer for a very long time. In fact, I had a Medium account where I had like one blog post, and my bio on Medium was aspiring software developer, which kind of just sounds like someone who dreams about writing code at night, when in fact I was actually coding every day at that point, but I just didn't feel like I had maybe earned the title, and I wasn't comfortable putting it out there and telling others that, hey, I am a software developer or I'm a programmer, because I didn't feel like I had earned it yet. When I completed my bootcamp, which was exactly 1 year after I started learning coding and around 10 months after I had aspiring software developer in my bio, I decided to change my bio. I opened up Medium, went to the settings, and just backspace, backspace, backspace on the word aspiring. And I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of an embarrassingly emotional moment for me. That was really the first time that I was able to see myself as a programmer and like feel comfortable enough kind of telling the world, hey, I'm a software developer, I'm a programmer. And that was cool. It was a really nice moment, but I think I could have done it a little bit sooner. And I think that anyone watching this video, you're probably already a programmer and you can put programmer in your bio. Now, I really think that anyone who codes is a programmer. You don't have to have spent X amount of hours learning or be able to solve Y algorithm, or, I don't even think you need to know how to use a command line to consider yourself a programmer. You just have to code and want to keep learning, I think. And I think that the earlier you're able to call yourself a programmer and be comfortable with that title, the better. Hi! Since I can't have ads on my video yet, I thought I'd just make my own about me. If you like this video, give it a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing so you don't miss them. Plus, you can follow me over on Medium if you like reading. And last, I'm just going to shout out my top comment from the last video. Thank you so much, Malcolm. Glad you enjoyed the video, and now back to me. Everything I'm saying sounds pretty nice, and like I'm sure it sounds good to call yourself a programmer, but what really is the point? Like, what's the big deal? Why should you consider yourself a programmer? I think one of the reasons is if you're able to identify as a programmer, it's going to be a lot easier for you to act in ways that align with how a programmer acts. So James Clear actually talks about this a lot in his book, Atomic Habits, which, by the way, if you haven't read that book and you're learning to program or learning anything really, or just trying to make any kind of change in your life, you should probably buy that book right now because it's the best. And I use like so many things in that book, techniques or just ideas in that book, like every day of my life in so many different ways. So yeah, I really think you should read that book. James Clear talks about using your identity as a way to kind of create new habits or break bad ones. And one popular example that he uses is people who want to quit smoking. So if you want to quit smoking, but you still consider yourself a smoker, it's going to be a lot harder for you to do that than if you considered yourself someone who used to smoke, because then you're going to act in ways that align with that identity. Another example is if you're someone who likes to work out, but maybe you don't have time for it lately and you start thinking of yourself as someone who doesn't work out, then it's going to be harder for you to work out than if even though you're busy, you still think of yourself as someone who works out. If you can identify as that person, then it's gonna be way easier and more likely that you act in ways that align with that identity. Back to programming, if you consider yourself a programmer, you're gonna act in ways that align as a programmer, and it's gonna be so much easier for you to study or to learn new concepts, or even just to kind of look things up when you're not sure, because you're gonna be like, yes, I'm a programmer, this is what I do. I Google things when I don't know the answer, and I'm able to read documentation and figure out what it means, because that's what a programmer does. I also just think it's gonna give you, if you're able to call yourself a programmer, you're gonna have so much more confidence. And I think that having confidence when you're learning something so new and so big is really important, and it's just so helpful to keep you motivated throughout the journey and to just continue learning. Also, being a programmer isn't just about coding or being the best coder. Now, I've met a lot of programmers, and it's so much more than that. It's being someone who's good at working autonomously, and someone who's a lifelong learner and likes to explore rabbit holes and learn new concepts. It's someone who likes thinking in systems and finding the most optimal way to work or just do things. Coding is also on that list, but it's just not the only thing. And I think the sooner that you realize that, the sooner you can be comfortable with giving yourself that title. And I'm not saying it's easy. When I first started coding, I was so nervous to tell anyone that I was even learning. I don't know why. I was so embarrassed. I thought that people would think I was like a wannabe programmer, and I don't know what I was thinking, because it sounds so ridiculous now that I'm thinking back at it, but I don't know. I was also not sure if it would work out, so I didn't want to tell people because of that. But and I realized throughout like that year that I was learning how to code that really no one cares. In fact, a lot of people that I told even completely forgot about it, so no one's even listening, which is kind of really comforting to hear, because once you kind of think that way, you just feel a lot more comfortable saying things and putting things out there and making YouTube videos. So no one's gonna care if you go around saying you're a programmer even though you don't know Git. Like, no one's paying attention, and it really doesn't matter. The point I'm really trying to say is, if you want to be a programmer, just be one, and don't wait until you hit some arbitrary measure that you read online, because the sooner that you can identify with the person you're gonna be, the sooner you're gonna get there. So I guess that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.